Okay. It is a beautiful early August late morning in the lunar cycle Okonokis when the Saskatoon berries are ripe. And I am going to hike down into the coulee this morning with my heavy backpack full of camera equipment. I'm right behind Heritage Point in the Heritage Heights neighborhood, and I'm going to use the new stairway that was built last year. On my way down, I'm going to take a different route up. But whether you're coming in from Heritage or whether you come in from the Elizabeth Hall wetlands, what I call Spopikimi, coming this way, there's a lot of treasures out here. A lot of treasures to be observed and to experience and be part of. And I'm going to show you one of those today. My mission today, what I'm out here for this morning, is I want to photograph and video record a tiny metallic blue wasp that I observed last weekend, who was feeding on nectar coming out of the seams, I believe, of the seed pods of Yucca glauca, which is a yucca plant that's down here. And this little patch of yucca is in fact a very rare patch. Like, I don't know if there's any other patches of yucca within a 2-hour drive of here. There probably are one or two, but for the most part you don't get yucca as a regular feature of the landscape until you get around Great Falls, Montana. And I'm sure there's a couple of little patches here and there, weird seed spreads that have happened otherwise. But up here, this might be the most northerly patch. I'm not sure, but it's a little feature that we have here on the west side of Lethbridge. And I'm going to show it to you today, and it's got a very special little metallic blue wasp whose identity I really want to know. So I'm going to photograph her today, videotape her, and get her identity. And who knows what else I'll encounter on the Glucka or elsewhere. I'm always out just to see what's new in the coulees, what's changing during the lunar cycle, what animals are out, what they're doing, how they're interrelating with themselves and the plants. And yeah, don't know what I'll encounter, but for sure I want to get the blue wasp if she's out. I'm hardly down from the coulee's edge. But I've stopped off to look at this fly, this bee mimicking fly, who I've seen before, but I've never been able to get really good photographs or film of him. Here he's on a Canada thistle. Normally when I'm around them, they're pretty skittish and they just fly past me. It's been a dry year, so maybe he's more desperate. His big red abdomen sticks out. Okay, so here are our yucca plants. This is the patch right here, and it's just off the trail below the high-level bridge as you kind of come up onto this first shelf of coulee land, right, just off the trail here, maybe halfway up from the coulee bottom, you know. Anyway, here's the plants, and they're seed pods, and I can already see something's changed since last week. That being that one of the seed pods has been torn off, I think probably bitten off by some kind of an animal. I don't know who. You can see the seed pods are still attracting some insect activity. It's not often in nature that you have the hot food, the thing that was exciting last week is still exciting this week. So I don't know if we'll see the blue wasp or not, but there are several other wasps around, as well as ants who are their close relatives, right? So there is a connection between ants and wasps, and probably the reason why they are interested in the yucca. Let's see what's going around on some of these flowers. There's some ants. There's a wasp. Not the wasp I'm looking for, but still a wasp I haven't seen before. That gray wasp is different. I'm going to try to photograph her, I suppose. And yeah, lots going on. Here's a kind of a reddish metallic wasp or bee on this one. It's interesting that another one that I've never seen before. Like, these are all the indigenous species, right? These aren't honeybees. These aren't European bees and wasps. These are the real deal. So I'm going to get out my camera, and I'm going to start photographing some of these guys and see who all I can get. This is actually the first kind of summer that I've been monitoring these yucca. I had heard that they were out here, but I didn't find them until we headed into winter this last year. So this is the first summer I've been monitoring them, and I was here to see them flower and see their seed pods develop. Now I'm seeing that something eats their seed pods, and there's several different indigenous wasps and bees who are interested in these pods. Probably some kind of a nectar coming from these pods. So I'm going to get out my camera and take some close-up pics that'll help me identify them. So I've been here a little bit now, photographing the insects who are visiting these yucca seeds, or these pods, and no sign of the metallic blue wasp that I was hoping to photograph, but I still got a lot of good photos of some of the other players here. There are at least 4 different wasps and some ants, a red abdomen ant, which is different than the western thatching ant, but almost just as big. And I've noticed that everybody is pretty territorial as to their pod. If they are on a seed pod and somebody else gets on that seed pod, they'll typically chase them off. And if they are, except the ants will not chase off other ants, but they'll chase off the wasps. The wasps will chase off other wasps. I wonder if I can get one of the battles going here, because I've seen several battles here between these wasps with the red wings. When they get on each other's seed pods, they just go right head to head, battling and biting each other. And they are definitely eating something, like right out of the pod. Some kind of nectar that they're getting right out of the pod. Yeah, maybe I won't see a battle here on film, but there have been several. I got some photographs. No metallic blue though, but that's okay. Any case, if you are down here in the river bottom on the west side by the high level bridge, if you're in the Elizabeth Hall wetlands out that way, coming down from Heritage Point, make sure to stop here and check out the yucca plants. This is a rare plant for Lethbridge, very rare. In fact, other than as ornamentals, which I'm sure some people have, I'm pretty sure these yucca is the only patch in Lethbridge. If you're lucky out here, you might come across some skunk bark sumac still in berry, and they look like this. Really nice berry clusters. Now these little berries have seeds in them, but the seeds are perfectly edible. All berries have seeds in them. You know, but these ones, you notice, they might get caught in your throat. I just ate some. But the cool thing about this plant and its berries are that they are like whopping loaded with citric acid. It's like eating a little Sour Patch Kid candy. They lost a little bit of their potency because it's late in the season, but it's still there. So if you're in the coulees for the next week or so, take advantage if you see any of them and eat some of them. Preserving them is kind of difficult, but you can take them and dry them. You can throw them in water and make a kind of lemonade if you want. Good vitamin C. Here's another important plant this time of the season, and that is gumweed, oxbee in Blackfoot, which is basically saying gummy. Notice here there's a yellow jacket flying around, visiting some of these flowers, maybe looking for something to eat, something protein heavy, you know what I mean? But still, the yellow jackets visit these flowers, and all through the summer they visit all kinds of flowers, and they certainly inadvertently carry out pollination as much as anybody else. I've seen a lot of posts online, memes about how wasps are no good, they don't do anything. It's ridiculous. They do so many different things. And pollination, like a lot of people compare them to the bees. Well, bees are good, wasps are bad. Complete bullshit. Okay? Wasps, sorry for the language, but wasps do a lot of pollinating as well, and our plants would definitely be amiss without the wasps around, as I think I'm evidencing somewhat this morning. But there's other animals that hang out that work these gumweed flowers, different from the ones we saw in the yuccas, right? So one of them, for instance, I don't know if you can see him here, but I'll take some photographs of him. This is a black blister beetle. You'll see 3 different colors of blister beetle on these gumweed plants. And that'll be the black ones, the gray ones, and the yellow ones. They're called blister beetles because if you mess with them, you mess around with them on your hands, some people will have an adverse reaction to them and actually cause blistering of the skin. The worst for that in our region is the oil beetle, which I haven't found examples of oil beetles in Lethbridge, but just north of here I encounter them pretty often. Any case, this plant is really good as an expectorant. So if you have a kind of a nagging cough or something like that, it really helps as a cough medicine. I've used it. I think really it's the most useful cough medicine we have as far as the different things that I've tested. Yeah, I'm just kind of, as I'm talking, I'm just kind of scanning these flowers to look and see if there's any examples of the yellow blister beetle or the gray blister beetle around. Not seeing any, but I am seeing more, different. This is a little indigenous bee, not a European honeybee. Sorry if you didn't catch him there. I'll take a photograph of him for sure. But there is a little indigenous bee visiting these guys, as well again as the yellow jackets, black blister beetles, and there's some other little insects. There's some other little wasps and stuff visiting as well. So I will stop here and take a few photographs of the pollinators, and then yeah, move on. But really good cough medicine. Okay, I'm on the trail. This is called the Muff. It was built by mountain bikers down here below Heritage Heights neighborhood. A few different good resources right in here that I wanted to show you. Actually several, but there's 3 right on hand. Here we have red currant. And we also have golden currant. Now these berries are in the latter part of their fruiting stage. So if you want to get any of these, you should have been started about 2 weeks ago. But if you still want to get some, they're out here. They're still good in the shady areas like this. But in the other areas under the sun, these plants are pretty played out. These are really good berries. The only thing is, you can't sun dry them. You can freeze them. They last very good frozen. And they're just basically well, they're a currant. Like a gooseberry is a kind of a currant, you know. They got a little bit of tartness to them, and they're good. Another thing that's out here, you see these plants that look kind of reminiscent to some kind of cannabis. Probably a lot of you know that this is a stinging nettle. And right now, the part of the stinging, like, there's a lot of uses for the stinging nettle, but we're in the season when the stinging nettle has its seed pods, right? So right now, the time is there to gather the seeds, and these seeds are really like as good as like hemp hearts in terms of protein and stuff. I don't know if it's exactly a correlation, but they are good seed protein and pretty easily gathered. When you come across a stem like this, you know, you can gather these seeds and you can eat them straight, dry them, eat them later, put them into your into whatever, your blender, into your smoothies. It's all good stuff out here in the coulees. There'll be something else to do with this plant a little bit later as we transition into winter. I wanted to say something about the muff. Let me throw on my backpack here so I can start hiking as I speak. This is a trail that is built by mountain bikers and is used by mountain bikers. And if you're walking in this trail, I feel like it's your responsibility as a walker to have an awareness going on. So even though I'm talking to myself right now, I am consciously making an effort to listen out into the distance in case I hear mountain bikes coming. In case I hear voices and people and stuff happening. The sound of trail being turned under tire. You know, I want to be able to alert somebody that's zipping down this trail that I'm here. I think if I'm wearing earphones or something like that, it's quite dangerous. Or if I'm walking with a friend and we're just talking and not paying attention on the muff, it's very dangerous. Now, I did have a mountain biker one time tell me, up at the top of the trail, he saw I was going to walk down, and he told me, you're crazy. He says, when I go past, you know, when I go down here, I'm flying. I can't stop. You know, if I come around a bend and you're there, I can't stop. And in my mind, although I appreciate that this is a mountain bike trail made by mountain bikers and they want to steam down it as fast as they can, the reality is, unless they got people along the trail at the top and bottom making sure that there's no pedestrians on the move, if you're going so fast that you got to hit somebody, that you're not going to be able to stop, and you might kill them, you might at the very least injure them, possibly cripple them, possibly kill them. If it's to that point where you got to tell walkers that they're crazy to be walking through here, then you're liable, you know. It's not the person who's walking that's going to be liable for what happens in that encounter legally, right? Not that legal is the only thing that matters. Like I said, I'm not going to walk through here with headphones on. I'm going to do everything I can to stay safe. But this is not an area that's designated only for mountain bikers, right? This is our coulees here on the west side, and I have every right to walk up and down this strip as anybody else. Yeah, the mountain bikers made this path, and in that respect, I'm being, I think, respectful in minding that, you know, if somebody is coming down this path, I'm trying to hear them ahead and let them know so that everybody can stay safe. But I'm not gonna, you know, not use the path just because I know mountain bikers use this path, and just because I know that they made it. Because the reality is that it's like as if somebody came down here in the coulees and made a shooting range that is perfectly safe. You know, when it's checked out beforehand, you know what's downrange and all this stuff, right? But that in most cases people are using regardless of knowing what's downrange, and they can't see what's downrange, and they haven't checked what's downrange, and it's not an official range, and so they're just shooting and hoping they don't hit somebody. And that seems to be the mountain biking ethics that's going on in here, shooting down this trail and just hoping they don't hit somebody. I have actually set a game cam up here since the winter. Since these trees were completely bare of trees or leaves, I set a game cam up here, and I'm coming today actually to retrieve it. It's just up this way. Nobody apparently has observed the game cam, or at least made indication of it, and I've seen a lot of interesting things on this trail. I haven't seen many species that weren't like small birds moving through this trail, probably because other animals, for the most part, know that this is a dangerous time to be on this trail, right? For the same reasons I just described. But what I have seen is a lot of different human activity. And for those of you who are mountain bikers or what have you that use the muff, if you want evidence, I'm happy to show you. But there are at least as many people who use this trail for hiking, probably more who use it for hiking than use it for mountain biking. So my recommendation for using this for mountain biking actually is that somebody go down the trail, and probably a lot of people already do this. Somebody go down the trail first at a not too fast pace, at a pace that's still exciting, but you're not going to kill somebody. Make sure there's nobody on this trail, and then move back up to the top and make some runs. It would even be better if you could position somebody, go down the trail, and then that person stay at the bottom while the next person went down fast, you know, and then that first person could go up at the top and go down fast, that kind of thing. But if you're just plowing through here and expecting that there's never going to be an accident. You know, I think there is going to be one down here eventually. You know, if my camera data is steering me in the right direction, there's a lot of hikers down here. There's a lot of people zipping through on their bikes, and if they haven't been colliding already, I think they they eventually will. Sorry, I got a skunk brush sumac seed caught in my throat. Which reminds me, there's another plant here that I'm going to show you while I'm here. Fairy bells. Fairy bells grow down here in the nice shade. This is them. Hey, beautiful little red berries. Hey, and well, they too, like all of the berries, have seeds. The flesh is delicious. Really good. Just juicy. You know, I feel like one of those wasps on the seed pods. Like we're all gathering the nectar. And for me, these things have the good nectar for the season. Yeah, these are really good. Highly recommended. But yeah, I don't swallow these seeds, I spit them out. Okay, so I guess that's about it for my little coulee jaunt this morning. Did not find any of the little blue wasps that I was hoping for. I looked on every flowering plant as I passed, every fruiting plant. Wasn't seeing them. They're somewhere down here, but I don't know where. I'll encounter them again. Hopefully I'll have a camera on me at the time. Yeah, I was thinking that maybe this plant here, which is the roundleaf hawthorn, I was thinking that maybe its berries would be near to ready, and I could introduce that on this video as well, but they're not quite there, so we're going to save that for a future visit. But just know that these berries are potentially pretty important for people's health if they want to use the traditional foods and preventative kind of medicines and stuff like that out here. Yeah, so that's it for this afternoon's jaunt.